Rishis are not making it up. It has a direct connection. When we eat something that's pure, what is the state of the mind? Pure. So the mind is made up of this. Touch makes up the mind. What do you mean? Don't you notice that when it's in hot countries, people have the tendency to talk more? Right? But in cold countries, what happens? People are conserving the energy. They don't want to talk. Even touch makes up the mind. So when we say the 5 subtle elements make up the mind, how is that possible? Because the property of those elements are our form, our sound, our touch, our smell, our color. So these things, when we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, they make up our mind. But then there's other factors that also make up our mind, like our vasanas. So we will notice that even if we are in the same environment, one's mind could be completely disturbed, but one's mind could be completely calm. Why is that? I thought you said outer things make up my mind. But there's also the inner thing that makes up my mind, which is my vasanas. So if I have sattvic vasanas, then my response to the environment will be different. If I have rajasic vasanas, it will be very different. For example, we could all be in an ashram. And the same exact environment, the same place to stay, the same food, the same people, but there are people who are just enjoying it and relishing it. There are people who can't wait to get out. There are people like, this is too much for me. I need to get out. I need to see things. There are people whose minds are in tamas. Why did I even come? I should have just stayed home. And I just should have stayed in my bed. Isn't it? So like that, the mind is made up of food that we intake in terms of these 5 shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, and also our vasanas. What else makes up our mind? Certain imaginations that we have. These imaginations that when this happens, then I will do that. You know, when we're driving in the car and all of a sudden our mind goes very, very far into something and then we miss the exit? So those imaginations also make up the mind. So that's why my mind is the way it is. If I'm wondering, why is my mind like this? Why am I thinking these thoughts? I am thinking these thoughts because of these 3 things. My intake, my vasanas, my imaginations. Very often, we blow things out of proportion, isn't it? The situation could be very small, but the mind makes it so big. It's the mind doing that. So we studied, what is the mind? A flow of thoughts.
Ego.
So ego is the one that takes ownership of the mind, right? Ego is the one that says, I am this mind. The mind is just there. The thing in Vedanta is, we can't avoid it. The mind is just there. But this ego notion in us will say, I am the mind. I am the one feeling happy. I'm the one feeling sad. I'm the one thinking this. But the one who doesn't have that ego notion understands that that's just the mind and that's its play. I've got nothing to do with it. But to be able to detach from that very mind, one has to first make or divinize the mind. For a jnani, for a self-realized person, their mind is highly divinized so they can detach from it. Because their mind will just revel in divinity. It will never think ashubha, ashiva. It will never think negative. So they can easily detach from it and say, that's just the mind, let it do its thing. I am pure awareness. What happens with us? Our minds are thinking negative. Our minds are going here and there, so it becomes difficult to detach from that mind. You cannot go beyond that kind of mind because it's still dirty. It still has a lot of impurities there. So only when that mind is divinized, then you can detach. So the goal is to divinize to the point that I can detach. Does that make sense? Otherwise, I won't be able to detach. Like the body. The goal of the body is to keep it healthy so I can detach. When the body is healthy, very easy to detach, right? Very easy to say, I'm not the body, it's okay. Right? But when the body is unhealthy, try detaching. Becomes so hard when we have pain here, pain there, everywhere, something's going on. It becomes so difficult to detach. The same way, when that mind is healthy, we can detach. When the mind is unhealthy, we cannot. So that's why the study of the mind is necessary. For people's minds who are very pure, this is not necessary. But for us, what to do? It is necessary. Hence the necessity of divinizing that mind. Now this mind is inert because it's made up of the 5 elements. But because of the reflection of consciousness, it appears sentient. So on its own, it's inert. Just like this body is inert. The mind is actually inert. How do you say it's inert? We can know our thoughts, but can our thoughts know us? No. I can know anger, I can know sadness, I can know joy, but can joy know me? Can anger know me? The mind cannot know us. So the mind is actually inert. But because of the reflection of consciousness, it appears sentient. So as I said, the mind is something that it unrolls and then it comes back. And when it dissolves, that itself is Brahman. But when it's appearing, it's called mind. So it's like you take a canvas, like when the canvas unfurls and it goes back to its normal state. That is called the mind. In Vivekachudamani, we studied a very important verse. Nahyastya vidya manaso tirikta manohya vidya bhavabandha hetuhu. Means, when the mind is, the world is. And when the mind is not, the world is not. So everything depends on the mind. When my mind is awake, everything, all the world of names and forms are awake and alive. But when that mind is sleeping, the world of names and forms are also asleep. That is the power of the mind. So that's why we are studying to divinize the mind. This is the final obstacle. So, tanme manaha Shiva Sankalpam astu. May my mind always have auspicious thoughts. Because sometimes it's not auspicious. Sometimes it's going places where I don't want it to go. So with that understanding of the mind, we will now start the first verse. So if you turn to page 15, I will chant and then you can follow. Yajjagrato duramudaiti devam tadusuptasya tathaivaiti durangamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanme manah Shiva sankalpamastu. Together. Yajjagrato duramudaiti devam tadusuptasya tathaivaiti durangamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanme manah Shiva sankalpamastu. So the rhythm for the next few days especially should be Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. My mind is going somewhere it's not supposed to go. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. Yad Jagrato. From that mind, from the waker, Duramudeti. It goes very far. Tadu Suptasya. And from that sleeper, Tathe Veti. It comes back. Durangamam. It's very, very far. Jyotisham Jyotihi. It is that Ekam. It is that one light of all lights. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpam astu. May that mind have auspicious thoughts. Which mind? Yad Jagrato. That mind from the waker which goes far. Duramudeti. As soon as we wake up, what happens? Very far, right? To-do list. What's my to-do list? Oh my gosh, I have to do this. Oh my gosh, I have to do that. The alarm clock rings. Either what's in the mind is snooze button. Let me sleep a little longer. Or the mind's, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. It goes so incredibly far. The mind doesn't need any visa, any immigration stamp, no travel documents, no problem. It goes continents, it goes miles, it goes super duper far, further than anything can ever go. The fastest thing in the world is that mind. In a split second, it can go somewhere else. Like now, in a split second, your mind can go somewhere else, isn't it? Durangamam. My mind, immediately when I wake up, it goes far. Even when I meditate, it goes far, isn't it? Not only when I'm waking up, when I'm meditating. If I'm meditating on Lord Shiva, sitting in Mount Kailash, and I'm thinking about his Trishul and his crescent moon and his hair and his nice curly hair, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need a haircut. Isn't it? The mind can also do that. It can, unfortunately, it does that. When we're sitting quietly, it does that. And we look so nice. We look like we're really meditating. And our, whoever's at home with us, they get fooled. But we are like Bakasura. Bakasura is, in Lord Krishna's Leela, there is Bakasura, which is like a crane. This Bakasura, Lord Krishna slays him. And what the meaning of Bakasura is pretentiousness. Because he's so focused. He's a crane, like he's constantly looking at the water, so focused. But what he wants is fish. He's looking at water. You think, wow, what a focused animal. But he's just looking because he wants fish, right? The same way, sometimes in meditation, we could be like sitting straight, eyes closed, everything. But something else is coming. It's not God, it's like Bakasura only. Durangamam, the mind went very far. So what should we do? When we wake up, after taking a shower, the first thing I must do is my sadhana. I must bring my mind close. Don't let it fly away. Before it flies away, come back home. Start home. Before it wants to break out, just get it here. Get it nested in the self. So that wherever it goes, it has that foundation. It has that grounding. It won't go far from the self. So as soon as I wake up, the first thing I do is take a shower, and whatever is my sadhana, spend some time grounding myself. Because you and I know that the mind is going to go far. It's just going to go really, really far. And there's different kinds of minds, It's not that, now there is so much ADHD that, people can't focus and everything like that. It's not really the case, I tell you, because we can focus. We can focus if we really want to, but we are focusing on the wrong things. If you look at a child, you say they have no focus, but look at the way they focus on a video game. Huh? Super well. If you say adults have no focus, look at the way they focus when they're playing cards or they're watching ZTV. Super focused. Super duper focused. So it's not that the focus is not there. It's just that we're not focusing on the right things. So in the morning, ground ourselves and try to stay steady with what we have to focus on. Don't let it go too far. Don't let it go too far and wide. And if it does, yato nischarati, manas chanchalam asthiram. If it goes far, bring it back. Keep bringing it back. That's why I always stress on the art of japa. What does japa mean? When I'm doing my japa and I'm moving the beads and I know my mind is going, stop the japa. Bring the mind back. Finish the japa. That's why you know how hard it is to do one round fully. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. And I want you to do 3. And I want you to do 3. It's so incredibly hard to do one round of japa. Because every time the mind goes away, we have to bring it back. But guess what? The more we practice it, the easier it becomes to keep the mind where we want it to be. And only the person who can keep the mind where they want it to be, that person has true power, not anybody else. Because imagine being aware of every single thing that we do. How beautiful would our actions be, isn't it? So, that's why I said japa, that training of bringing the mind back. Then we have the power to get the mind where we want it. And that is the solution to everybody's problems. Bringing the mind to where we want it. But do something good. How to focus is important, but also what to focus on is equally important. Because whatever we focus on, it will grow. It can't help it, it will grow. So focus on that which is divine. Devam. Devam means that mind which is imbued with the reflection of consciousness. It's inert, but it appears sentient because it's imbued with the reflection of consciousness. So Devam. Suptasya tathevedi. And of the deep sleeper, the mind comes back. So the beauty about the mind is, it's like a bird. When it wakes up, it flies everywhere. But when it's time to come to sleep, it comes back to us. So how we wake up, how we sleep, both are equally important. How we sleep is as important as how we wake up. Because you know what happens when we sleep? There's a sukshma vritti, there's a sukshma thought going on when we're sleeping. That's why you wake up with the last thought that you slept with. If you take a nap or if you're sleeping, whatever you sleep with, you wake up with. So how are we to sleep? At least half an hour before we sleep, unwind. Shut off all the TV, shut off all the technology, shut off everything. Just either read a book that's divine, do japa, or just keep our mind very calm, very balanced. Because only that mind which goes to sleep well can wake up well. That way when I'm woken up, I'm ready because my mind has kind of slept in that state. It does go on. It is a chakra. When you're sleeping, that thought will go on, and that's what you will wake up with. So yet jagrato duram udeti means it goes far when I wake up, but it also comes back when I sleep. So both are important for a seeker. Durangamam, the mind which goes far, very far. What is the furthest point my mind can go? What is the furthest point? The furthest highest? What is the highest thought? When we say durangamam, furthest, highest, what is the highest thought that my mind can have? I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. The highest thought that my mind can have is I am Brahman. Blessed is the mind that can have this thought. So when it says durang gamam, means may my mind go that far to have that thought that I am Brahman. And not just a casual thought, but a deep thought. Because to get this thought at the seat of meditation is not easy. It's hard. But may my mind go that far, get that thought, and even go beyond that. May my mind dissolve and merge with that which is beyond the mind. That's how far the mind should go. That's the furthest we should push the mind. So sometimes we wonder, what's the furthest my mind can go? That's the furthest. That's how much we need to push the mind. Durangama. So if my mind has not gone there yet, then that's where it has to go. Jyotisham jyotihi ekam. The mind is also considered as the one light of all lights. Why? Because all senses, sense organs are considered lights because they bring knowledge. Our sight brings in knowledge. Hearing, sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of touch. Everything brings in knowledge, right? But the thing is, eyes can only bring sight. Ears can only bring hearing. Nose can only bring, sense of smell can only bring smell. But the mind is that one which collates everything together. So that's why it's called Jyotisham Jyotihi, means Ekaha. It's that one light which collates everything together. And if we look deeper, what is that true one light upon even which the mind depends on? It's the self. It's consciousness. Consciousness is the light of all lights. And we studied this in the Bhagavad Gita. Natatra suryo bhati. The sun can't even illuminate consciousness. Nor can the stars. Na chandra tarakam. Nor can the moon. Nema vidyato bhanti. Not even lightning. Kutoyam agnihi. What to talk about this fire? Whenever we do arati, this is what we're saying. We can't illumine you. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. You are the light which lights all the other lights. Tasya bhasam sarvamidam vibhati. By your light alone, everything else shines. Jyotisham jyotihi ekam. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. So we'll chant this together. Yajagrato duram deiti devam tadusuptasya tadhaiveti durangamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanme mana Shiva sankalpamastu. So may that mind which runs far from the waker comes back to the deep sleeper. That mind which can go really far to that furthest point and even can dissolve to go beyond. That mind which is the light of all lights, may that mind think auspicious thoughts. What do I do if I think an inauspicious thought? What is something that I should do or I can do if I think an inauspicious thought? Japa, change the mind, stop, think a higher thought, satsang. I mentioned to you this before. We all must have a rhythm, a mantra, a rhythm that we keep in our minds, whether it's Om Namah Shivaya, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, any constant it should be like a background music, like a background shruti that goes on in my mind. If I keep that rhythm there, when I think something inauspicious, bring it back to that rhythm then. That's one thing I can do, bring it back to that rhythm. And that way it gets back to auspiciousness. Another thing that I can do is be aware of that thought. See that thought as separate from me. That's a thought that's rising, and now it will fall. It's another thought that's rising, and it's another thought that will fall. This is a little deeper practice when we can watch our thoughts and just watch them rise and watch them fall. Sometimes we can't help it because that is the nature of the mind. But I tell you, the more we soak ourselves in goodness, then it becomes the nature of the mind to think auspicious thoughts. Then it becomes difficult for the mind to think inauspicious. I gave you the example of Sri Ramakrishna yesterday, right? In the Bhagavad Gita class. How for him it was so easy to just revel in God. Or for the gopis, it was just so easy to revel in God. So like that, the more we soak, like you soak jammu in that syrup, gulab jamun in that syrup, you soak, right? The more we soak our minds in divinity, the more it will become natural for it to think auspicious thoughts. Okay, now we go to the next one. Page 24. Yena karmanyapasो manishinaha Yagne kranvanti vidatheshu dhiraha Yad apurvam yat kshamantah prajanam Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. Together. Yena karmanyapasो manishinaha Yagne kranvanti vidatheshu dhiraha Yad apurvam yakshamantah prajanam Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. Yena karmani, that mind by which actions, karmas, are performed. By apasaha, those who perform actions. Manishinaha, by the wise people who are self-controlled. Yagne kranvanti vidatheshu dhiraha, that mind which does yajnas, selfless, dedicated service. Dhiraha, dhiraha means the wise, the steady, the one who is able to go inward. Yad apurvam, that mind which is truly unique. Yaksham antaf, that mind which is yaksham, which is worshipful. Antaf prajanam, that mind which is in and through all beings. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. May that mind have good intentions or good thoughts. What does this mean? The mind is that by which we perform actions. What do you mean? Where our body is that by which we act. But where does it all start from? It starts from the mind. Can we ever do any action without thinking in the mind? No. So everything starts in the mind. So the way my mind is, that's the way my actions will be. So today, if I'm highly disturbed, how will my actions be? Very crazy, rushed, hurried, all of this. If my mind is very peaceful, how will my actions be? Peaceful. So the answer to all of our issues is fix the mind and the world will be fixed. A true sadhaka. What is this sadhaka? True sadhaka's prayer? True sadhaka's prayer is, God, don't fix them. Fix me. I need the fixing. So everything can be adjusted in the mind. Anything that I'm going through, I can adjust it here. That's the place to adjust. We don't have to depend on other people. If we're going to start adjusting everything outside, what happens is we depend on them. And sometimes they don't change, right? We've lived with so many people, how many years? They don't change. But where can I adjust? I can adjust here. So if I'm clear that all my actions start from my mind, they all start from here. So if I need to fix anything, first fix this. Yena karmani apasaha. Apasaha means the one who acts, the one who strives, not the one who's just lazy and say it's okay. No, do something about it. Do something about it, but start with my own mind. Fix it here. Manishinaha. Manishinaha means the one who has conviction. Some of you may have studied Manisha Panchaka. There's a beautiful book by Adi Shankaracharya ji where he talks about all the 4 Mahavakyas in one single verse. And the 5th one summarizes it. And he says, this is all my Manisha. This is my conviction. So Manishi means the one who has firm conviction. So that mind which is very convinced, only that mind can do anything. You see, when my mind is thinking, maybe should I go, should I not go, should I go do this, should I not do this? What's going to happen? Nothing will happen with that mind. But when that mind is convinced, I'm going, then done, no question asked. So Manishi means that mind which is truly convinced. You know where time gets wasted? In decision making, right? How much time gets wasted in decision making because we're not sure. Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we go here? Should we go there? Should this happen? Should that not happen? So much time gets wasted in deciding where should we go for dinner after or lunch or whatever. How much time goes in that, isn't it? That mind which is Manishi, which is absolutely convinced, that mind can just go. They're at full speed. So the people who are fully convinced, they don't take time. They already know that this is what they have to do and they can succeed faster. The people who take long to succeed, why they take long? Because they're not convinced. They're not convinced about what they're doing. So for one who has no full conviction, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot. You see, when a boy and girl meet, it takes a lot of time. They're not sure. This, that. So many months, they're not sure. But when they're sure, oh, so fast it goes. Let's do this, so fast it goes, isn't it? So Manishi is firm conviction. Yagne krinvanti, that mind which performs yajna. Yajna means many things. Yajna means rituals. Back in the day, the Vedas, they had to do lots of rituals. Yajna means also selfless, dedicated service. Why? Because that mind which performs selfless service becomes pure. What is impurity in Vedanta? Selfishness. Selfishness is impurity. Purity is selflessness. So when the mind engages in selfless action, what happens is it gets rid of its likes and dislikes. There's no scope to think about what do I like, what do I want to do, I don't like this, I don't like that. There's no scope of thinking about my raga or dvesha because it's a purely selfless act. But when an act is selfish, the ego gets fueled more. Because it's about what I want to do, where I want to go. I like it this way. It should be this way. The ego gets super fueled with every single selfish act that I do. The ego gets fueled because these likes and dislikes become so incredibly strong. And when our likes and dislikes become so strong for a person, they can never enjoy life. Because things have to be in a certain level. I only need 5-star stay. I cannot stay anywhere else. I will only drink black coffee. I won't drink anything else. They become their likes and dislikes become so strong. They cannot enjoy life. They can never revel in life. But what happens when we engage in selfless work? Our likes and dislikes become less. They become less because we cannot think of ourselves. It doesn't matter where I want to go, what I want to do. It matters about everybody else. It matters what is best for everybody. Who am I serving? I cannot think about myself. So in that selfless work, that ego, it shrinks. It starts to shrink because I have no notion of like or dislike. And that person enjoys life fully because wherever they go, they're fine. They have no, I only like it this way. I only need it this way. They're completely fine. So yajna krinvanti means the need for the mind to engage in selfless work because it brings about purity. It shrinks the ego. It smashes it. And that's what we're meant to do. There are people out there who want to extend the ego, isn't it? And we try to extend our ego in so many ways. We try to extend it through money, through wealth. We want this, more of this property, that property, and we extend it through wealth. Or we extend it through name and fame. That my name should be everywhere. Everyone should see my name. Everyone should know who I am. Or we extend it through social structure, social parties. That everybody should invite me to their parties. Isn't it? There are people who want to just increase and extend this ego. But what Vedanta is actually saying is shrink the ego. Shrink the ego. If I'm in pursuit of extending my ego, what am I doing? It's a false thing. It's an illusory thing. Why do I need to extend it? Or extend through my mastery. I have this degree, I have that degree, I have that degree. This is a false thing. When we engage in selfless service, it shrinks. There's no intention of extending my ego. There's only the intention of Bhagavan, everything is for you. You take over. That mind is Shiva. Not the mind that wants to increase its ego. But yet there are some who do selfless work who they still want that I'm doing selfless work. Then that's an oxymoron. Right? So we have to be so careful also because there are people who are doing selfless work but it's the selfless work to increase the ego. No. Nobody needs to know what we do. Nobody needs to know. Our main thing is with God. If God knows, who cares what everybody else thinks? It doesn't matter. So selfless work, that mind which engages in selfless work, that is Shiva. Dhiraha. There's this mantra in Kathopanishad. It says, Paranchikhani vyatranat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati nantaratma avritta chakshur amritatvam icchan. It means that our senses, unfortunately, were made to go out. Isn't it? Our senses were made to go out. They're all going outwards. So that's why we become so engaged in perceiving the world outside. But kaschit dhirav pratyagatmanam aikshata. There is that one being or some beings who turn their senses within. Avritta chakshuhu amritatvamicha. They are the ones who will get it. Dhiraha means the person who has the capacity to turn their senses in. So whenever my senses are reveling out, that's fine. But whenever my senses are reveling in, that's divine. Yeah.
Isn't it shutting down the senses? Because the senses normally, without it shutting down the senses, that's how you go within?
It's not shutting down. See, the way a person who has knowledge sees the world, they see it, but in the world they see God. Like you and I will see, we'll see a tree, we'll see an apple tree. Huh? What will we think? Oh boy, I would love to pluck those delicious apples. Right? And Jnani will see the same thing and say, look at God's creation. Like look at that expression of God. So adhiraha, it's not that they don't look at the world. They look at the world, but they see God first. We look at the world, but we see the world first. Like we've studied this in the Gita, gold necklace, gold bangle, gold bracelet. We're like, oh my gosh, I want to get that gold necklace, and if I wear that and on my neck, everybody will look at me and it'll be so amazing, and I'll get matching earrings. Jnani sees it and says, gold. That's it. It's gold. So there's no that it's a gold bracelet and that it's going to make me look awesome and it's going to make me look so good that I have to get it. It's gold. That's it. No ragadvesh. It just sees it. It's gold. That's it. There's no extra. Right? When you and I see something, there's so much extra attached to it. When Jnani sees something, it's just what it is. Their attention is taken to God. Now, how wonderful is that? Anything they see, it's taken towards God. Anything we see, it's taken towards the world. What will people say? What will I do? How will I look? Where will I go? So dhira is one was the capacity to connect everything to God or everything to divine. There's no personal here and there. That mind is truly Shiva. When they look at something and they see the Avaduta Gita, I mentioned this to you also. There's a beautiful portion in Bhagavatam. There's this Avaduta. Avaduta is this, he's a recluse and he's in the middle of the forest. And he just, in every single thing, he sees divinity. Every single thing. There's even one that, I'm telling you because you're adult. This is how does he think that? There's this girl in the Avaduta Gita. She's a prostitute. And so men come to her all the time and whatever. One day nobody comes. And she gets extreme dispassion. She says, what is this and what is this world about? And why should I want these people if they don't want me? What have I been doing the whole time? Why can't I just see God? She just gets intense vairagya. And this Avaduta looks at her and says, from her, I learned how to have intense craving from God. And the way she left the world, just see God.
Is this Dattatreya's 24 gurus?
Yeah. This is Dattatreya's 24 gurus. You just see in his even to her, he saw that. In everything, he saw God. So that is called dhira. Someone whose mind's always connected to the higher. Yad apurvam, that mind which is unique. What do you mean by the mind which is unique? Think about what is the best thing we can do in our lives. What's the best thing we can do in our lives?
Reach realized.
See God, right? Be realized. So what is apurvam? What mind is apurvam? The one that seeks God is apurvam. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that it is rare. It is rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu. There are thousands of beings. But kaschit, very few will come seek God. Very few will understand the rarity that we have. We don't contemplate on the rarity of a human birth. How rare is it to be born human? Do we even realize how rare is it to be born human? After thousands, millions of lives, we have come to be born human. We've come to a human existence. In this world, how rare is it to have family, to have comfort, to have stability, to have security? How rare is it? Extremely rare. How rare is it to have access to spiritual knowledge? That's rare. Even rarer is to come under the grace of a guru. That's not easy. That takes a lot of punya. That means we've done a lot of good things in our past lives. We've had a lot of merits. The unique mind is the one who makes use of all that punya and says, given all these circumstances, I am going to seek the highest. The mind which is unique is the mind which seeks the highest. That mind is truly unique and not any other mind. So when I understand the rarity of all these things and how they are all gifts, and I actually make my way there, then that is unique. That's a purva. Then what happens? That mind which seeks the highest becomes yaksham. Yaksham means worshipful. What does worshipful mean? Worshipful means the mind which gives the best. The mind which seeks the highest is the mind which is able to give the best. Do you know what happens out of one Mahatma's tapas? The absolute best. When I reflect on the lives of our great masters, Swami Tapovan Maharaj Ji seeks the highest. What is his gift to us? Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda Ji. Swami Chinmayananda Ji seeks the highest. What is his gift? Hospitals, schools, a monastery where people can be trained to learn this knowledge. Study groups, a vision of how to carry this knowledge forth, a systematic way. Books, commentaries, talks, discussions, generating so much more so the community can benefit. When you think of what these Mahapurushas do, in one time, you're just like, how are they able to do that? Who is able to give the best? It's the one who seeks the highest. Look at Adi Shankaracharya Ji. Well, what he has done. I mean, he's written the commentaries for Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Upanishads. Without his commentaries, none of us would be here. Absolutely none of us. We wouldn't be able to understand.
All before 30 years.
All before 30 years. Swami Vivekananda is the same. Seeks the highest. Whole Ramakrishna mission is there. So many people are benefiting from that knowledge. So just see, who are the people who give the best? One self-realized master. The whole world benefits. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji. Don't think because he didn't come down and teach and all of that, he did nothing. Whole world till today benefits from his silent tapasya. Whole world. When a jnani who has great tapas thinks of something, it happens. That's their power. And they will only think for the welfare of the world. So if I want to give the best, I must seek the highest. My first dharma is I'm a seeker. I keep forgetting that. I think I'm a wife first, I'm a husband first, I'm a mother first, I'm a father first. No, I'm a seeker first. Because I tell you, how do you know that someone loves you? Or how do you know you love somebody? What is the method of knowing that you love someone? What is the expression of knowing that you love someone? The true expression of love is in giving. When I give you more, that means I love you. When I give you the best, that means I love you. And how will I be able to give you the best? When I improve myself. So husbands and wives, try this with each other. When I improve myself, that's the greatest sign of love. Because when I improve myself, I can give you more. I can be a better wife, I can be a better husband, a better mother, a better father, a better teacher. That is truly love. Because I'm seeking the highest, I'm improving myself, therefore I can give you the best. Therefore, that is true love. Then you know I really love you. But if I'm not spending time in my self-improvement, in seeking what's highest, then I cannot give you the best. Then how true is that love? Do I really love you? That's something for us to think about. So that's why when you look at all these great masters, they sought the highest, they gave the best, and they truly loved. They truly loved us without even knowing. You know, it's different for you to love someone that you know. It's very easy. But for masters to think about us who they don't even know. Look at Veda Vyasaji. Veda Vyasa Bhagavan, everything was just word of mouth. He took those hundreds and thousands of mantras of the Vedas and he said, let's start writing it down. Why? Because generations of people who come should have access to it. They should be able to read that. Oh, tell me, is that not love? I mean, when we did our summer camp was on the theme of Veda Vyasaji. Wow. Just being able to revel on him was just amazing. What he did for us. He is called Brahma without 4 heads, Vishnu without 4 arms, and Lord Shiva without 3 eyes. It's Bhagavan Badarayana. Because he's done the work of Bhagavan Brahma, Bhagavan Vishnu, and even Bhagavan Shiva. Sometime in another time, I'll tell you the story of Bhagavan Veda Vyasaji. He had to endure so much. At every step of the way, there was a challenge in his life. But yet, he said, I'm going to uphold dharma, I'm going to preserve the Veda, so that more and more people can benefit after my life has passed. Wow. That's love. So many times we have not truly understood love, but these masters have. So that mind that seeks the highest, that gives the best, that mind is truly Shiva. Antaf Prajanam means that mind which is in every one of us. Means actually there's only one total mind. And this will become clear in the succeeding mantras. I'll explain it. But there's only one total mind. And that mind is in and through all of us. Tanme manaha Shiva Sankalpam astu. So let's chant this together. Yena karmanyakaso manishinaha yajne kranvanti vidateshu dhiraha yad apurvam yakshamantah prajanam tanme manashiva sankalpastu. So that mind which performs action, because all action starts from thought, that mind which is manishi, which means full of conviction, I know what I'm doing. When do we have conviction? How do we know what we're doing is right? Because it's going towards God. It's God word. It's going towards moksha. So it is right. If it's going away from God, it is wrong. That's it. Clear formula to know if it's right or wrong. If it's selfless, it is right. If it's selfish, it is wrong. That mind which is engaged in selfless work. Why? Because it takes away my likes and dislikes and it diminishes my ego. A lot of drama also comes when we do selfless work. A lot of drama. So it's an ego-crushing thing. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. We should do it. We should do it. Because we realize we are truly nobody. Dhiraha, the one who's the capacity to connect everything to God, to divinity, to truth. Apurvam, mind which is unique, seeks the highest. Yaksham, the mind which gives the best, and that mind which is in every one of us. Tanme manaha Shiva Sankalpam astu. May my mind be auspicious like this. So you see, how beautiful. Now imagine, somebody asked me a question when I was in Columbus. They said, why did the rishis write so many mantras? And why did chant so many mantras, so many names, 108 names here, 108 names there, so many names? I said, look, that was their pastime. That was their way of reveling. Now we're on WhatsApp and email and all of that. Back in the day, the way they enjoyed life was to revel in God. Write 1,008 names of God. So I said, next time I come, the camp will be writing 108 names of God. So he said, oh no. This is what they did in their free time. Imagine how we've come down. A lot. So it's up to us to make our way back up. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything? None? Okay. I think we stop here. I'll give you some questions now to reflect on. First question. Where does my mind dwell most? Now you have to watch the mind. Where does the mind dwell most? In what field? Question number 2. And this you have to watch for the next 3 days. What is my first thought when I wake up and last thought when I sleep? Question number 3. What do I need to do so that my mind can seek the highest? Question number 4. Am I giving my best? Question 4. Am I giving my best?
To the world, to people, to everyone,
To every, yeah. There's always more. There's always more we can give. But we won't know what that more is until we introspect. That's why I'm saying we need to introspect. I'm saying because I had to really think about all of these things. And the answer is no. Still more we can give.
Your discourses are better.
Okay.
Can you repeat question number 4?
Am I giving my best? In whatever field I'm in, am I giving my best? Yeah. Okay. So reflect on these questions, and then what we'll do on the last day, I will complete a little bit early, then we can spend time discussing these questions, what are people's thoughts, or any other questions that you have. Okay? So we'll say the closing prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om. We'll chant Brahmarpanam since there's prasad. Om Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivate Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Maybe someone can post the questions on the WhatsApp group so that becomes accessible to everybody. And yeah, so we'll meet again tomorrow. If you can, keep chanting Shiva Sankalpa Suktam.